Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's the return of the Mac. Y'all really already know how we do it. I don't really know. I did some promoting, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't a lot of people in the room tonight on this live screening that I'm about to do right now, this live reading. So first of all, y'all gonna have to excuse me because I haven't been on the mic for so long that I'm very nervous. And a lot of the comic illustration slides, they was taking so speak just a little bit because the people that bless my platform and listen to me before, they may tune in, and I can't really jump anything off without really speaking to them. I want to thank you guys. If you used to listen to me before and you jump in on to catch this live, I want to thank you. If you're catching the replay, definitely want to thank you. You guys know, obviously, I worked up until the last minute. So being as nervous as I am, if you know, you know, I'm going to take my medicine. And so y'all bear with the content creator real quick while she got to do what she do. This memoir that Kim left behind is something that, I didn't think that exposure would come this quick, okay? I personally didn't see it, but Jah knows. And you guys know that we chant them down on this channel. We don't care about demons. We stomp demons. And if they're going to be exposed in the light of day, well, who are we not to talk about it? This lady risked her life. She risked her life, y'all. I didn't know the depths of the depravity because I had to jump out of hip hop. It was too demonic. Okay. It was too demonic. They took something that was precious and they bastardized it. And that whole terms is now exposed for anybody who's willing to listen. You gonna keep worshiping them after what you're gonna hear tonight? That's up to you. You want to hear that Diddy's doing this and Diddy's doing that, and you don't want to do what you're supposed to do to separate, like the scripture tells you to. Guess who that's about to be on? That's on you. Y'all know I don't come on here to play no games. Y'all already know that. You know, the majority of my followers, there's other people that might hear this because a lot of people is interested in this book. The majority of my followers are people that know me in real life, right? So you guys know how long I've been gone. It's been a year or a little bit over. As soon as I was getting ready to come back, my brother gets murdered. Lord Majestic, God rest his soul, murdered by a demon. And so it took a lot of time. It's taken time to get over that. But I'm gonna tell you what, when these other demons expose their face, a demon want to show their face to my family. Well, I'm gonna show the demons what's up. Mhm. I'm gonna show the demons exactly what time it is. We not scared over here. That's just the simple facts. We just not. So with that being said, with all the promotion and all the hoopla and the this and the that, I searched out the book, the unedited copy. Okay, so as we said, this is what it's gonna be. I know we're not gonna have a lot of people on the live, so I'm gonna tell you what, this is gonna be strictly upon the replay. I hope it goes out and replays and replays and replays. And I hope people listen to it and listen to it and listen to it and start going down the rabbit hole and start understanding that every conspiracy is coming true right in front of your eyes. You want to look, you don't want to look. That don't mean it's not happening, people. Mhm. Tell y'all right now, that don't mean that it's not happening. So y'all want to play? Well, let's play tonight, and let's play and let the record play and play and play and let it reflect. All right. Now I'm gonna put out my medicine. I'm gonna move into the studio. I'm going to grab the book, and then we're gonna begin. All right, people, I'm back. I hope you got your drink and got your snack because Dirty Diddy, yeah, Dirty Diddy, he gonna have to get what's coming to him because you know what? Him and all his little friends, they've been up to some ish, y'all. They've been up to some ish. So for everybody that's gonna search and everybody that's gonna find, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this nigga been on his grind. But the Bible says, seek and ye shall find. And tonight we about to find out. We open the book. This is the preface. In 2017, Kim Porter sent me her novel that she so diligently worked on. Kim felt there was truths that she had to disclose, and she didn't want to hide any longer. She acknowledged some of the secrets in her book were going to hurt several people, but she wanted Sean P. Diddy Combs taken down, and she had to tell her story to do it. I warned her. Sean didn't care that she was the mother of his children, but she was tired of living in fear of him. I knew how it was going to go down. He was going to kill her. I just wish she would have listened because she was a good person. Kim made me promise that if something happened to her, I would make sure this book became public to the world. The way Sean moved, I knew that was a promise I would have to fulfill. Kim knew I was a woman of my word, and this book was going to make it to print. Her kids deserve to know the truth. I'm going to make sure her story gets told. And Kim wanted to tell it all. I don't know if I will be alive to see this book in print, but there are too many secrets. I can't remain silent anymore. That is a direct quote of Kim Porter's. She knew when she released this book that she might not even live for this book to come out. So she is quoted as saying, I don't know if I will be alive to see this book in print, but there are too many secrets. I can't remain silent any longer. Kim Porter. Now, you guys may have heard a gentleman's name attached to this book. It seems as if Kim gave her information directly to a female confidant. And I think that by the time I finish reading this book, you guys will be able to tell who that is. Okay. All right. So we move forward, we advance. Chapter 1, Introduction. And the chapters are short. This book is less than 80 pages long. No, this book is only 41 pages long. She did as much as she could, y'all, before she paid the ultimate price. Chapter 1, Introduction. Soon after high school, I started landing modeling jobs. I couldn't believe it. It was all happening so fast. I met my husband, father of my oldest child, and one of my oldest friends in life, Albie Shore. It was a whirlwind romance. I was only 19 when we married, and no, it did not work out. Al is still one of my best friends to this day. Our son Quincy is such a talented and wonderful young man. At that time, I had no idea my relationship with Al was going to introduce me to the man that I would spend the better part of my adult life with, the man who I loved, cherished, and now fear and hate. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I will say, although I knew what was going on, I turned a blind eye to it like I didn't. Here, I have to tell the truth. Unfortunately, I knew everything that was happening. I lied to myself, but I knew. He was so charming, a wolf in sheep's clothing, a devil, and I fell for it. This story must be told, despite the fact that it will hurt my children. I cannot hide it any longer. Sean Jones must be stopped. Okay? And I'm going to tell y'all straight up only real soldiers step to the front. And that's just what it is. Chapter 2, Humbled Beginnings. I was born to loving parents, Jake Porter and Sarah L. Porter, in the Peach State of Georgia. All through Columbus High School, where I graduated in 1988, I knew I was going to be famous. That sometimes will get you into problems. I'm going to just say that. In the 10th grade, one of my best friends, Tina, said to me, "You won't make it here in Georgia." I knew if I really wanted to be famous, I would have to leave my hometown and my home, Georgia. That conversation was so important as I look back now. It changed my life. I met Al while I was working in the industry. He was so dope and charming, and I had such a crush on him. We were married before I knew it, and Quincy was on the way. But I was young, and I just felt like it wasn't going to last. It was a little heated between us after we separated, but we got past that quickly. He's just a super dope guy and an amazing father. Though we separated, we are forever bonded through Quincy. Thank you, Al. I will always love you. When I met Sean, he was cool. I didn't think much of him at the time. He was just another guy at the label. Uptown was huge, and we were all living our best life. But Sean continued to lay on the charm, and before I knew it, we were dating. As a young single mom at one of the hottest companies in the world, life couldn't get any better. And then it did. My boyfriend was getting even bigger. He and Clive would hang out a lot, but I didn't think anything of it. I mean, that was his boss, and he was doing things bigger than most men dare to even dream. Then it happened. I mean, okay, I was a little bit of a freak. I really enjoyed myself with my partner, and toys are one thing, but I never imagined having a man that I was dating asking me to use a toy on him. The first time, he said he just wanted to experiment, try something new. I was grossed out, but he kept begging. He said it would only be this one time, and he was curious. He was just curious. I was only 20 at the time. I said, "What the hell?" I hated it. He bled from it, and there was ish on it. I left him alone after that. So she ran, but she should have stayed gone. Chapter 3, Second Chances. Sean kept reaching out, and I kept ignoring his calls. Eventually, in a few weeks, we ran into each other at an event. He came over and sat next to me. We were cordial. He flattered me by saying, "You look so amazing." I replied with a simple, "Thanks, Sean." I tried to get up and leave, but he pulled my arm. As I turned to him, He looked deep into my eyes and said, "Look, what happened between us was weird, but I really care about you. Can we?" He paused, and I tried to use this as my attempt to escape. I pulled my hand back and said, "Sorry, Sean, I have to go. Please, I think I'm falling in love with you. Can we talk?" My breath was taken away. Did he say he loved me? It was so fast. I wasn't aware of this as his manipulation tactic yet. God, I was so young, so naive. He continued, "Let's just have dinner." I fell for it. 2 days later, we went out for drinks at a lounge in Lower Manhattan. Now, at the bottom of this page is a color photo of Diddy with his arm around Andre Harrell of Uptown Records. Chapter 5. Sean Neals. Let me slide back over here. Let me slide back over here for this. The year passed, and thankfully, we didn't have any bad arguments. Although Sean was strangely getting into voodoo, he would put curses on people. And I wasn't sure how to respond to that craziness. My problem as a single mother was I wanted to be married. He always had excuses and delays when it came to committing to marriage. His label was blowing up, Biggie dropped, and it was just about over. He also signed Mary J. Blige. And of course, when I found out he slept with her, we fought. He claimed it was a mistake, and my stupid ass took him back again. Sean asked me for a threesome with her. At first, I was mad, but Mary was beautiful. It was our first threesome, and I loved it. Mary was sexy. I would not be doing this a lot, but it was hot. I felt I was young, and exploring my sexuality was enticing. Over the years, we brought other women into our bedroom periodically, and we were happy. That is until one day I came home to a situation that went from awkward to a nightmare. Quincy was with the babysitter, and Sean was sitting with Al at the dinner table. Now, I had a child with Al, and Sean was the father in Quincy's life. So the awkwardness of all of us being together had dissolved a long time ago. But it was still weird that they were here in my home together alone. I sat down and we had drinks. It was fun. The conversation was cool until it wasn't. Al was a little loose after a couple of drinks. I remember him saying, "It's still weird seeing you with my friend, but you're happy. So I'm happy for you guys." Sean responded, "Thanks, man. Me and you, we share so much." Al replied coolly, "Word." The conversation took an odd and awkward turn when Sean said, "We all been together sexually, but not together." I was shocked for a moment as quietness lingered in the room. I asked, "What do you mean by all together?" Al shifted uncomfortably, but Sean didn't hesitate. "You know how we sometimes invite other people into our bed?" I couldn't believe it. "Oh, hell no, Sean. This is my son's father. Al, say something." What Al said was mind boggling. "I don't know. It could be kind of hot. I miss you in that way." Although I couldn't believe Sean would do this, the truth was I still cared about Al, and this could be very hot. I just didn't want it messing up my relationship. And if things became awkward, how would it affect Quincy? So I asked, "Are you both sure?" I imagined both of them inside me. I knew this would be awkward sexually. There would be some bumping of genitals. But what happened next? I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. Al dropped to his knees, unbuckled Sean's pants, and began fellatio. I couldn't believe it. I stood there in shock. But when Sean pushed him down and returned the favor, I ran out of the room. This was too much. I couldn't. Sean called out to me, "Oh, come on, Kimmy." They didn't chase after me. They were too wrapped up in each other. I couldn't get the image out of my mind. I couldn't be with Sean for a while, but that wouldn't be the last time I saw Sean in a compromising position, not by a long shot. One day, I found a vault where he kept all of his encounters with men. Yes, he kept a record of it, but that's for later. Now, I always wondered all the while during the years why I'll be sure always seemed just like he just gave up his whole life and all of a sudden did he just taking care of his son. But it's really because Al was part of the brothel from very early on. Okay. Now I don't know if you need to take a breather after that, but I do. Thank you. I just needed to take a sip. Sean Niels. Wow. Chapter 6, going back to Cali. Wow, going back to Cali. Biggie took over East Coast hip hop, and Sean was the brilliant mind that orchestrated it. He hired people to teach Chris how to flow and write his lyrics. He hired the best producers to do the beats, although he took credit for them, and the music was unstoppable. At this point, Sean was sleeping with all the power players, and everyone that wanted to do music wanted to be a bad boy. Sean wheeled and dealed in a way that would have been unthinkable to many. He slept with the guys who really controlled the music to stay on top. A lot of the names average people have never heard of. These are the guys that make the decisions on who is winning and who is not. He hosted parties that were just a fancy name for orgies, and everyone wanted in. When I met Tupac, Sean and I had an open relationship. And yes, I slept with Pac. Shit, he was sexy. Sean didn't mind. Well, not until he tried to get Tupac to join both of us. Pac was not good with that. This is where the relationship between them became strained. Tupac wasn't going to accept Sean's advances. Pac wasn't gay, and he was pissed about the advances. Hello, hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. They trying to call who's gay, not, and who's not, and who's not is. That has always been the case. There was something that just all of a sudden went wrong, and it was because Pac didn't want to get sit on the director's chair. Allegedly. Okay? Allegedly. So that is where it just went bad, just right there. Okay. Pac did not want to join in into the quote unquote fun. Okay. So here it goes. We were all in Sean's house. I was drinking, they were smoking, and everyone was just relaxing. See, that's why you have pictures of Pac with Diddy and they chilling, but it's not because anything ever went on. It's because at first everything was all good until this day. Okay. So everyone was just relaxing. Sean came in on what I am sure he would call a smooth approach. Here he goes sliding up to Pac. My baby bad, isn't she? Pac threw me a sly smile. Hell yeah. I felt myself blush. Sean was now in full swing. You think you hit it better than me? I couldn't believe he disrespected me that way. I was not playing with my response. Sean, what the F? Pac came to my defense. Damn, bro, you ain't got to do the sister that way. Tupac appeared upset behind Sean's words. Sean went in for the kill regardless. I think my D is bigger than yours. I bet I can make her faster than you. What's up? Pac was appalled. What the F are you talking about, nigga? I ain't trying to run no effing train. Sean continued. What are you scared of? Let's see who F's better. Let her be the judge. Yes, at this point, we have been inviting others into our bed for a while, but I am not used to and will not stand for disrespect. I wasn't the only one upset. Pac shouted, nigga, you talking about pulling your effing D out? Sean was undaunted. What, you scared? Tupac simply left. Things were contentious since then. The two could not be in the same room. Pac avoided me as much as he did Sean. When they did bump into each other, the tension was palpable. It felt like blows could be thrown at any minute. You see? Oh, I don't want to give nothing away. You see? Blows could be thrown at any moment. So there's a picture on the next page of Biggie, Sean, and Snoop sitting at a table. Okay. I have that picture later on in the slides, like they out to dinner or something. On the neck, at the bottom of that page, it's a picture of Diddy, Snoop, which is going to become very important in a few minutes, and Belle Biv DeVoe. I know they wish they wasn't never in this picture now. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Months passed with only the tension between them. It was uncomfortable, but nothing life or death. Then one day while we were at the studio, it happened. I walked into Sean's office and he was having the conversation. Sean sat across from Jimmy Henchman. If you in hip hop, you know who he is. Pop don't leave that effing studio alive. I don't think I was supposed to hear it. I continued as if I didn't. Hey, Sean. Good morning, Jimmy. They didn't seem to think I heard anything. I'm ordering breakfast. Smiling, Sean replied first, let me get eggs, sunny side up with grits and an orange juice. I could see he was hungover. Good. I don't want him knowing I know anything. If he just put a hit on Pac, knowing something could be dangerous. Jimmy, apparently not hungry, said nothing for me. As soon as he stood to exit the room, he said to Sean, let's make that happen. Then nodded to me and said, Kim, always a pleasure. With a wink to me and a nod to Sean, he turned and walked out. Jimmy was a part of our intimate circle. I went on as if nothing was happening. I'll make the call now. I smiled as I left, hoping I wasn't as white as a sheet. She had to stay cool, calm, and collected. On the next top of the page is another full color picture of Pac, of Snoop with Diddy. Again, will become important very soon. I wasn't in the studio the night Pac survived being shot. Thank God. From what I understand, Sean and Chris saw Pac at the studio after he'd been shot and did nothing. The way God works. After being shot, Pac made it to the elevator and tried to escape, but it stopped at the floor Sean and Chris were on. When the doors opened, they saw him lying on the elevator floor, riddled with bullets. The fact that they didn't call an ambulance, although they saw Pac lying there swimming in a pool of his own blood, would be all the evidence Pac ever needed. He, of course, assumed they placed the hit. Tupac is a soldier. This is not something that will be unanswered. Tupac didn't do well. He lost a lung, but he survived. This is how the infamous East Coast West Coast beef came to be. It was orchestrated. Sean Puffy Combs was the orchestrator. Hmm. Nothing more don't need to be said on that because anybody that's real in hip hop already knew that that happened when it happened. Chapter 7, Threats. At this point, I knew I had to get away from him, but I was scared. Is he going to take my life if I try to escape? One February evening, I thought I found my opportunity at dinner after an event. We were at a ritzy restaurant in a private booth. It was an exclusive setup. We were alone, but we were in public. Perfect. Sean was on the phone talking to an unknown listener as he sat down. His words on that call will be etched in my mind forever. We're going to release who shot you now. He waited for a response, then went on to say, of course, they're going to think Big was talking about Pop. That's the whole effing point. Nobody would give a F about a diss track against LL effing Cool J. Do you know how much money we'll make with this kind of rap beef? Niggas battling after someone really got shot? This may not be the best time for this conversation. Sean was finishing up. We dropped that tomorrow. He listened into the phone, then responded, there's going to be blood in the street. Niggas miss, Pac's alive. Let's capitalize on that ish. When he responds, it's just going to mean more money. He turned around and looked at me, spoke back into the phone. I'll call you back. They hung up and spoke to me. What's wrong? I tried my best to give a fake smile at what I heard. After all, me and Pac were intimate. I responded, nothing. Sean wasn't fooled. Are you sure? His demeanor was threatening, but I responded as cool as I could muster to his intimidating stare. Yeah, of course. He took my hand, saying, that's wonderful. He began to squeeze my hand until it hurt as he continued, because seeing you walk in the office while I was talking about killing that mother effer and you not saying ish to me had me a little concerned. His grip was starting to hurt badly. You're hurting me. As he continued, he squeezed tighter. You're pretending you didn't hear anything was a sign of your loyalty to me, not something I should be concerned about, right? I had no choice but to give him the answer he wanted. I knew I was trapped when I responded, of course I'm loyal to you. He let go. He let me go as he responded, good. And remember, I'm the big D. I snatched my hand back in pain. He smiled and said, let's start off with a good wine. He snapped his fingers and his favorite wine was poured for him. They knew what Sean wanted and what he wanted he got. I'm trapped. Now isn't the time for me to launch my escape plan. I have to be strategic. It's going to be hard to leave the glamour, the glitz, the lifestyle. I mean, this man just snapped his fingers in one of the most exclusive restaurants in New York City, and they poured his drink of choice. The bottle of wine is $800, and this is 1994. The list to get into this place is 6 months long if you are somebody. Mayor Giuliani has a table here tonight also. If I got up and walked out, I would be safe. But what about tomorrow? I had to think. He sipped his wine and smiled. You're not drinking? He pointed at my glass. And of course, a waiter filled it. They knew what I liked as well. Sean has a bad temper. He yells sometimes. And okay, he's roughed me up once or twice, but he never punched me, he never bruised me, and he never hit Quincy. I would not have stood for that. He never laid a hand on my son. At that time, I never thought of him touching Quincy in any way. Then the significance of what he said hit me. Is he mad at Tupac over me? I'm the big D. Oh my God. The last time he put his hands on me, the last time he put his hands on me, let me go ahead and forward advance a little bit. The last time he put his, let me go ahead and find where I'm at, okay? Because you don't want to leave the glitz and glam. Then the significance of what he said hit me. Is he mad at Tupac over me? I'm the big D. Oh my God. The last time he put his hands on me, it was because I enjoyed Jamie Foxx too much. Shit, he enjoyed Jamie too. He gets so insanely jealous. It's not fair. He wants to bring other men into the bedroom, but gets jealous when he does. Damn, you're quiet tonight, he said, snapping me back into the present. I asked the question that was burning in my mind since I walked into that office. What does Chris think of this? He looked at me coolly and said, his fat ass better just keep doing music. A third guest was escorted over by security. Sean motioned for him to sit. A waiter walked over to Sean Carter and asked, would you like something? Carter responded, no, thank you, then said hello to me with a smile. Smiling, I replied, hey, Carter, and took a sip of my drink. The Seans may share a bed together from time to time, but thankfully, I was never asked to join. Carter went on to speak to Sean. I thought we were meeting in private. Sean replied with a nonchalant shrug. I had to discuss something with her. It's fine. Go ahead. He wielded this kind of power. Carter shifted uncomfortably in his chair before continuing. It's true. Pac, it's true. Chris and Pac were about to start their own label. Sean slammed his fist against the table, shouting, doesn't anybody have any effing loyalty? Carter, well, that's not happening now, right? Sean peered at Carter with distrust. Why the F are you so eager to share this with me? Chris is your man. F, he brought you on and you're stabbing him in the back? Carter responded with indignity. First, I'm tired of being that nigga's son. I need to come out from under his damn shadow. Sean smiled slightly. Okay, I respect that. Carter kept going. On top of that, this nigga is making that move and it should have been with me. Sean looked at Carter blankly. Pac put Chris on. You know this. What's this really all about, Carter? Don't effing try to play me. The Jay-Z of today wasn't born yet. This young Sean Carter was in over his head. Cornered, he had to spill it out. I want his spot. Ambition. Now, this is a man I could work with. Sean made a grandiose gesture toward Carter. Waiter, get this mother effer whatever he wants. Carter smiled. Thank you. Sean responded, honesty and ambition, we're going to make a lot of bread together. Carter ordered a drink as he stated again. Guess he won't be leaving with that nigga to do their own label now. Sean responded with his normal air of arrogance. Why don't you let me worry about that? I took this as my cue to escape. I told Sean, I'm going to go ahead and get back to Quincy. Sean was wrapped up in his conversation with Carter and barely noticed as he excused me. Had the limo drop you off. We didn't eat. He didn't care. I smiled and kissed him on the cheek with an okay and left. So, so What's understood don't need to be said. Y'all know Wendy Williams tried to blow that whole situation up. And judging from this picture, it pretty much looked like Pac and Biggie was with Wendy, and she would have put them on, and it looked like that whole thing it was just not meant to go forward. But you know what, Diddy, just like the Ciroc thing, it just wasn't meant to go forward. You did what you did, you get what you got. Yeah. Everybody wants the top spot, right? No problem. Chapter 8, Kadada. Actress, model, and fashion designer Kadada Jones was Tupac Shakur's fiancée and is the daughter of record producer Quincy Jones and actress Peggy Lipton. Being around other celebrities was just a part of life. Meeting Kadada was just one of those events, and as time went on, we became close. We hung out together, went shopping, and so on. It was about the same time I met Kimura. Those were the days, or so I thought. We always had girl talk, and the fact she was dating someone I had previously been with was not a source of contention. We didn't get jealous of each other. It was just girl talk stuff. No, I did not become intimate with Kadada. Kimura was too jealous for that. Yes, Kadada knew about Kimura, Sean, and I all being together sexually. Of course she did. We shared that kind of thing. We were open and honest with each other about almost everything. A true friendship, except I couldn't be open and honest about everything. Not anymore. Sean made sure of that. Kadada and Pac were the greatest couple. He was always so cool and yes, sexy. She was so beautiful and fun. Before everything happened, we used to all hang out together. It was always dope vibes. But after Pac was shot, the vibes between Kadada and I changed. The vibes weren't always so dope anymore. Then came that night. Award shows weren't anything new for us at this point. We dialed up as the men groomed. We didn't choose what we wore. A stylist prepared our color palettes, a makeup artist did our makeup, and a hairstylist did our hair. This was just the way of things. We shared the best stylist in the business. Sometimes we would all go to the studio for an event to get our measurements taken, but this time Kadada seemed different. I felt like something was wrong, but when I probed her, she wouldn't say anything. Then the day of the event was here. We would all see each other inside. Even though Sean was my man, as far as props, I had nothing on Kadada. Being Quincy Jones' daughter had perks, and superstardom was among them. Pac wasn't there. When she saw us, she came over to our table. We sat around kicking it in a very dope vibe. Sean knew he was going to clean up this award show. We all remember those days. He had all but taken over the East Coast musically. With all the hits, there really was no way he wouldn't. Bad Boy is Hall of Fame stuff now, and Sean P. Diddy Combs knew it. Sean smiled at Kadada as she sat down at our table, but something about that smile didn't seem authentic. Soon I would know why. He's sick when he has a grudge against someone. As she sat, Sean said, Bad Boy's gonna clean the F up. From his table with Faith, Chris replied, Hell yeah. And that new ish we busting out gonna have these niggas sick. Kadada signaled for the waiter to pour her a glass of the ginger ale that sat over at her table. As the waiter refreshed her drink, she said, Pac's music gonna get some love too. Sean grimaced. Oh, come on, Sean. I know y'all got your differences, but you have to admit, the man makes great music. Sean looked at me out of the side of his eye, took another sip of his favorite cognac, and replied, Bad Boy got the hottest music on the effing planet. But I ain't tripping. Everybody got to get they shine, right? Kadada sighed. Sean, he thinks you were involved with him getting shot. You were so close. You need to make this right. Sean responded indignantly, Why the F would that nigga think I had anything to do with it? Kadada retorted, Sean, can you blame him? Sean was obviously not happy with that question by his reply. Hell yeah, I blame him. We had a good thing going, all of us. That nigga turned on me, and he has the effing balls to blame me for his shooting. The indignity he managed to spew out while lying through his teeth was something I did not expect. I was thrown back for a moment when he I was thrown back for a moment, then interjected, Da, do we have to do this tonight? It's Sean's big night. Kimora heard the ruckus and made her way over to our table as well. She sat down and said, "Hey, everybody," with that big dimple smile. I smiled and replied, "Hey." Kadada also seemed happy to see her as she said, "Hey, what's up, Kimmy?" Kamora, never the type to hold her tongue, went straight at it. The whole place is buzzing with the fact you're sitting over here accusing Sean of having Pac shot. Y'all kind of loud. She laughed. Kadada seemed embarrassed as she looked around to see everybody staring and whispering, but she wasn't about to back off. In fact, she doubled down. Anybody here not talking about it ain't real anyway. We all know Sean was behind it. Kamora forced a smile. Honey, we don't have to do this here. Kadada made clear she was not to be silenced as she continued. Oh, let's not hurt the feelings of Sean Puffy Combs. He only had one of the most prolific rappers in the game shot. Sean clenched his hands into fists. If this was anyone else, this would have turned ugly. But this was Quincy Jones' daughter. Sean was a monster in the streets, well feared by men that knew. But he did not want any of the smoke Quincy could bring. Kadada could continue with impunity. Sean could not touch her. Christopher and Mary both wanted to defend the super producer that made them famous. Both started to stand and make their way over to the table, but Sean signaled them off with a firm motion of his hand. They remained in their seats watching helplessly. Kadada seemed to be on a full rampage. You're not safe in the street, Sean. You think you're untouchable? Kimura seemed almost red in the face when she grabbed Kadada by the hand, saying, I gotta go to the restroom. Kadada, not willing to stop, snatched her hand away, yelling, Let go of me. Kimura needed her to get a grip and said sternly, as a parent speaking to a child mid tantrum, Da. Kadada turned to her and yelled, What? Kimura nodded toward the crowded room and Kadada looked around. Here she deflated slightly. Kimura, now in control, spoke firm but softly. Let's go powder our nose. Kadada nodded with a grimace and gave a sharp look back at Sean as she walked away. As attention slowly melted away, I asked Sean, You okay? Sean didn't reply at first. He looked around, saw that no one was really paying attention now that the ruckus had died down, and stood to get the pitcher of ginger ale from Kadada's table. He poured himself a drink from it, looked around again, saw no one was paying attention, put the pitcher under the table. What is he doing? Then I heard the distinct sound of liquid being poured into liquid. Oh my God. Is he peeing in the pitcher? He smiled at me as he brought the pitcher back from under the table and finally replied to me, I'm good. He then stood and returned the pitcher to the table. I was in awe. I knew he had a bad temper, but this was disgusting. I'll never eat or drink something after we have an argument again. Kadada and Kimura made their way back to Kadada's table to sit as Sean watched on quietly. Sean made small talk. Which songs do you think they'll give me awards for? As Kadada poured her drink, Sean's guard made his way over to the table. I think he stopped her from drinking as everyone else just sat and watched. Jean risked incurring Sean's wrath if I'm right. Relieved, I replied, Babe, your catalog is crazy. It could be a lot of songs. Sean glared at the table the entire night. So, so as you can see, you can't eat or drink around Diddy, okay? Because right there out in the open at the awards, he peeing in somebody drink and Kadada drink, okay? So, let me take a sip of my sorrow because this man just out of control, okay? So, and I also find it interesting that, like she said, anybody that's not talking about it not real. And just as soon as this older ruckus is over, enough people is not looking that this man is able to pee in this girl drink. Okay. So Jean, that's Jean Deal. That's one of Diddy's first bodyguards. Okay. So Jean pretty much saved her from drinking that ginger ale that night. Okay. Chapter 9, going back to Cali. We had just had a wild night. It was after one of Sean's infamous parties. Everyone was there, and we not only had threesomes, but we also swapped partners. Our sex life was crazy, but I got to do things with Sean I would never have been able to do with a straight man. Sean cared about me, but it was becoming more and more obvious that he preferred men. I was beginning to think I was there more to cover his wild desires than because he really wanted to be with me. He was like Caesar, every woman's man and every man's woman. But truthfully, at that stage, I was becoming okay with that. I woke up and left the bedroom where I was with Jada. And he happened to be coming out of the bedroom with Snoop and Will Smith. Yes, Snoop attended the parties from time to time. I could see him and Will kind of snuggled on the bed. I was grateful I wasn't asked to join in that room. I didn't really like Snoop. Sean smiled when he saw me. Good morning. Here at the orgies, he wasn't affectionate. He didn't have to pretend. He couldn't walk straight. I knew how he felt. We've had sessions playing with each other's anal cavities. I wanted to be home before Quincy woke up, so I told him, I'm getting ready to go. He responded, let's have a cup of coffee first. This meant he wanted to talk. I didn't know what it was about, but in situations like this, I didn't really have a choice. He was becoming more violent when he didn't get what he wanted, and I didn't really want to fight. So I sat down. But before we started talking, Snoop came out the room. Sean was wearing boxers. Snoop was in his birthday suit. Snoop addressed us morning. When he turned around to close the door, there was a dried stain on his back. Snoop walked over, pulled a chair out to sit down next to us, and lit up a blunt. Now, we can pause right here because even when I heard the edited version of this, I knew it was Snoop. When she said she didn't like XXX, I just knew it was Snoop. And you're going to hear this conversation coming up. You're going to see why it's obvious that it was Snoop. Okay. And I also know from the standpoint of a woman why she don't like him. I mean, dang, you just got up out the bed with Diddy and Will Smith. You in somebody else's house, you walking in these people's kitchen naked and sitting down in a chair. At least Diddy put his boxers on. Like Snoop, you need to have more class in your ass. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say. So this is the picture in the book where I said they were sitting at the table. This is the picture in the book with them and BBD. Snoop always seemed to have a long object, a long slip in his mouth around Diddy. Here, they're dueling swords. You just don't light no spliff in conjunction with no other man like that. We're not running out of fire. So, this is Snoop and Diddy on the Steve Harvey show, February 23rd, 1997. This is season one, episode 17. I do, I don't. Was this a marriage ritual? We always was like, why is Snoop wearing his hair like a girl? Okay. Because the director said so. And if the director is directing your life, you better do what he directs you to do, or you're going to be in doo doo. Well, even if you do what he wants you to do, it look like you're still in doo doo. So I don't know. Well, let's get back to the story at hand. Okay. So Snoop walked over, pulled a chair out to sit down next to us, and lit up a blunt. Sean stretched, smiled, and said, this East Coast, West Coast beef is more lucrative than I thought, but it's getting dangerous. Snoop responded, surprised. Business first thing in the morning? Damn, cuz you own it. But you don't got nothing to worry about. You got a pass, daddy. Snoop smiled coyly. Sean apparently has something to talk about with Snoop as well, because he said, I can't protect everybody, especially if someone is no longer going to be on my label. It was apparent Snoop was taken aback by this turn of events by his reply. Sean, are you saying what I think you're saying? Sean continued, it's taxing on my resources to protect people. Someone that isn't 100% on my team can't get 100% of my protection. What the hell is going on here? What did Sean want from me? This morning is turning out to be way more than I expected, and I have to go. Quincy will be looking for me. Meanwhile, Snoop apparently wanted clarity. So, to be clear, if something happened, Snoop made quotation marks with his fingers to one of your artists that was leaving your label anyway, it would be considered, he makes another set of quotation marks, out of your control. Is that what you're saying? Wait a minute. Can they be talking about Chris? Is Sean saying he won't protect Chris? At this point, I was too young, too naive, too hung over to understand that this was not a lack of protection. This was a hit. Where did this come from this morning? But an older, wiser me understands now what I did not comprehend all those years ago. Sean was just getting to the real reason that he had Snoop there. The world was about to lose BIG. Snoop laughed. You a cold mother effer. Sean said, why the F should I protect someone that isn't going to stick around? I made him. That nigga should be worshiping the ground I effing walk on. I was thinking, Sean's ego is rearing its ugly head, and I wanted to get out of there. But instincts told me I need to tread carefully. So my next move had to be calculated. I don't really want any part of this, not even implicitly. But I was just dragged right into the middle of it. If what was happening here ever comes out, what I beheld as an accomplice, but even as those thoughts crossed my mind, I couldn't just pretend this was okay. So I said, but Sean, he hasn't left yet. They're just rumors. Are you going to let him die because of some rumors? Sean glared at me, the anger in his voice obviously stemming from hurt as he said, I know when I'm being betrayed. I am not killing anyone, but I am not protecting somebody that doesn't have my back 150%. F that. This was railing out of control. My mind began to race. Is there a way to get through to him? Maybe I could use the finance route. Sean, he's bringing in so much money. You put so much money into cultivating him. Are you going to throw away all that money? That's when he revealed how thought out this meeting was. If he leaves, he takes all the money I invested into creating him. Sean sighs. But if he can't protect himself and something terrible happens, if something terrible does happen, then the money I would make off of his death would blow away all the money we made so far. I was perplexed. Sean, he continued, he's worth more to me dead than alive. Sean Combs is a calculated monster. Snoop chimes in. I get that, fam. A lot of people out there want Big Dead too. Without your protection, he doesn't stand a chance in Cali. Chris is going to die. This is crazy. I dare not say anything about it, anything else about it. Sean smiles and stands to walk over to a safe behind the picture. There, he pulls out a bag marked with Snoop's name. He turns to Snoop and says, that's why you're worth your weight in gold. You understand me? Here's a little something for you to take care of my people. Snoop smiles. Sean, I love you, baby. You know I got your back. Your problems are my problems. I'll make sure to have my people take care of your people. I need to get out of here. This is crazy. I attempted to leave again. Sean, I want to get to Quincy before he wakes up. Sean looked at me, responding, it's getting late. Give him a kiss from me. I'm going to get out of here. Thank God. Snoop, always with something to say. I'd love to meet the little tyke sometime. Not a chance in hell. Something about this guy creeps me out. I forced a smile. That would be great. I made my exit. Cha, going back to Cali. And you see the wizard, the demon wizard that Diddy is, went and literally let the notorious put out his whole death march in albums. You see, Dead or Alive, going back to Cali, like a warlock wizard, he's doing his thing and triangulating this man straight into a death march. Okay. Chapter 10, The Lies You Tell. At this point, the relationship between Sean and I had been off and on for quite a while. And we were off at this point. He had put his hands on me again, this time for something that didn't even happen. It was all in his head. When the phone rang, I picked it up anyway. Hi, Sean. Sean sounded trepidatious as he said, "We've been broken up for a while this time." Yeah. He continued, "I don't want anyone to know about my," he paused to search for the right word. "Proclivities," I replied. "So you don't want people to know about you being gay?" He exploded. "See, that's why I effing lose control on you. Goodbye, Sean. Wait, wait, wait." I was completely exasperated as I spoke. "What, Sean?" "I'm sorry." "You're always effing sorry." He took a deep breath. "I have to do something to cover myself." I sighed. "Do whatever you effing want, Sean. When you see this in the news, it's not real." This made me calm down a moment. What could he be talking about? He continued, "I'm only doing it for the press." "Doing what, Sean?" After a long pause, he continued, "She knows what this is. She is just pretending to cover me." "Sean, what the hell are you talking about?" Another pause. "Publicly, I am going to be dating someone else, a video girl." I laughed. "Why would you do that?" "I have to cover myself." I was getting mad. I was actually angrier at myself more than at him. Why was I getting jealous? I was sitting there actually comparing myself to video vixens in my mind. They are thick, but look at my body. Did he prefer them light skinned, big butt girls from videos? I calmed myself. No, I know he likes men any damn way. As I regained control, I asked, "Why the hell are you telling me?" He sighed. "I wanted you to find out from me first." Like I give a shit. He came at me with his favorite line, "You know I love you." It was getting old. I can only think to myself, here we go. Love is a big, strong word. I'm tired of him throwing it around and using it when it fits his needs. He's using it while he's sitting here telling me about dating someone else. I replied, "You don't hit people you love, Sean. Love doesn't hurt." He sucked his teeth and responded, "Come on, are you serious? That shit is for children. We aren't in effing high school. Sometimes things happen. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I wouldn't hit you if I didn't." Wait, wait, that sounded wrong. You said exactly what you meant." He took a breath. There was an awkward silence. The fact I was still on the phone and waiting for him to speak meant he had the power. He was more cautious as he continued. He didn't want to lose that power. "Kim, no one that I don't care about can bring that kind of emotion out of me." I wanted to say, "Is that how you talk to dudes after using butt plugs?" But there is a line I dare not cross. Instead, I said, "You say that while you're dating some other B. That's just for the public." I was done. It could be heard in my voice as I said, "Whatever, Sean. Do what you need to do. Leave me alone. I'm never giving up on us." I responded to that emotional control attempt with the little resolve I could muster. I didn't even believe the words that came tumbling out of my mouth. "Sean, there is no us anymore. Goodbye. Tell Quincy I miss him." His emotional manipulation was really driving me crazy. This time I said with much more conviction, "Goodbye, Sean. Bye, baby." I hung up. Manipulative bastard. Chapter 11, More Problems. Because he already had the more money. For a while, I was actually happy to see Sean gone. I was getting older and the sex parties were out of control. It was getting time for me to slow down. Quincy was getting older. I knew that if I kept going, the rumors circulating were going to eventually find a way to get back to him. What will he think of me? So these rumors were already out, you see. And these boys wasn't really born yet, but you see that these is the new kids on the block. See, this is Diddy's son and and um Snoop's son, okay? And you see Snoop is like our kids are friends and all this because of the love we have for each other, family and all this and that, but bro, you playing. And who only knows what them kids have already been through or what they're already into, okay? So, okay, so forward. Quincy was getting older. I knew that if I kept going, the rumors circulating were going to eventually find a way to get back to him. What will he think of me? Chris is about to take his trip to California. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen out there, but I felt like Tiana was about to be an orphan. I knew I didn't want any ties to that. As I was sitting there contemplating all of this in my robe, sipping my wine on this Friday evening, my doorbell rings. I was not expecting company. I opened the door to see Sean. My heart skipped a beat. I was shocked, but recovered quickly. I forced a smile and told him with a slightly slurred speech, "Hey, come on in." Shit, I'm way more intoxicated than I thought. Sean entered, looking around suspiciously, then turned to me and smiled, saying, "You haven't been returning my calls. I just wanted to make sure you're okay." "I'm fine." He obviously was not there out of concern. He was checking to see who was here. Sean was controlling like that. Yes, even though we were not together and he was dating someone else, he started to make his way to the living room. I attempted to put a quick end to his visit, but it came out a little more directly than I intended. "So, since you can see I'm fine, you can let me go to bed now." Part of me wanted him to stay. As he entered the living room, I was forced to follow. Sean was very direct with his next inquiry. "Is someone else waiting for you?" "No, but Sean, we're not together. You're dating someone else. I can F whoever I choose." With this, Sean became irate. He fiercely slammed me to the ground. Then he pulled out a 22 and sat it on the end table. He turned to me calmly. I was scared. My voice quivered as I pled to him, "Sean, please stop. Quincy is here." How did we get here? How did we get to the point that he was in my living room threatening me with a gun? He knelt on one knee and got right in my face to say, "You're mine. You don't have a choice in that now. I can't live without you." He stood up, composing himself. I was terrified as I whimpered, "Sean, that's not love." Sean picked up his gun and cocked it. He looked at me thoughtfully and asked, "Have you ever heard, if I can't have you, no one can?" "Sean, please don't. Please. Quincy will hear." Sean smiled and put the gun away, saying, "Oh, this is just for dramatic effect. I would never shoot you. If I was going to kill you, no one will trace it to me. You know how many people I've had to take care of over the years? It would be quiet. Something in your food or drink, something that will never get back to me. I wouldn't shoot you. Do you understand?" I could only nod, tears flowing down my cheeks. He looked at me thoughtfully as he reached down to help me up. I could do nothing but agree. He's a terrifying monster. Now he wanted to smooth it over, and I had to go along with it. What else could I do? "Listen, baby, I don't ever want to hurt you. You know I really love you, or I would have moved on. Thinking about living my life without you is just too hard. If someone ever tried to hurt you, I would kill them." My back hurt from where I hit it on the table where he shoved me. All I could do as he helped me up was nod that I understood through my streaming tears, which he wiped. He looked toward Quincy's room. "Let me say goodnight." "No, Sean, please." Thinking quickly, "He has to get up in the morning." Sean looked back at me with an unreadable look. He was studying me. "Okay, I'm going to go." Shakingly, I walked him to the front door. "This is over, thank God." He kissed me. I didn't want him touching me, but I couldn't refuse. "Kiss Quincy for me." I tried to keep my composure as I replied, "Sure, Sean." He opened the door to leave. The bodyguard that was waiting outside escorted him to the car. This was far worse than I realized. Why would he need a bodyguard at my front door? How was he anticipating this to go? After I shut the door, I had another drink. For tonight, the nightmare was over. I sipped on my wine and cried. The next few days, he sent dozens of flowers. He bought Quincy expensive toys. He didn't want me, he wanted me to keep his secret. I'm trapped. He has the authorities under his thumb. I can't go to them. This is like a gangster movie. How high up does his power go? How far is his reach? The FBI, the CIA? Who is not corrupted or won't get silenced by their upper chain of command? Can anyone help me and my child? Eventually, he found his way back to my bed. I had no choice. Mm, trapped, trapped in the ghetto. So, obviously, We have some victims here, but it looks like we also have a lot of perpetrators. And, you know, I don't know how much of all of this is going to come out, but I know that this man really got something coming to him, because here's chapter 12, A Mama's Love. The calamity that ensued behind the death of Biggie shook the East Coast. It rocked me as well. Sean could have stopped it. He was implicit in it. He was a contributor. He knew it was going to happen and didn't stop it. This was his friend. I want to put Biggie slide up for these. Yeah, this was his friend. No, they were not nearly as close as he would have the public think, but still, okay? Now, anybody that knows me knows for years that I always said that Diddy came out with "I'll be missing you" way too fast. So even then, okay, he wasn't fooling as many people as he thought he was. All right. As far as Sean was concerned, we were great. To the public, we were just having the off and on relationship of a normal couple. And I probably just seemed like a money hungry hoe. But the truth is, I just got used to not having a choice. Today, I recognize it for what it was: Stockholm Syndrome. I was at his beck and call and had become comfortable with it. Quincy had everything he could ever want, with the exception, of course, of a normal parental figure. That is why this chapter is so powerful for me. A mother's love is so real. One night, I was out with my quote unquote boyfriend. Yes, we were on again. And we were joined for dinner by none other than Miss Wallace. Sean looked over as security allowed Miss Wallace to approach the table and sit. Miss Wallace smoked with a smile. "Hello, Sean. Hi, Kim." I smiled the best I could. What a situation. For all intents and purposes, she is sitting with her son's killer. I hope my voice didn't betray my feelings as I said, "Hi, Miss Wallace." Sean smiled also as he said, "Hello, Miss Wallace. What can I do for you?" When I got your call, it sounded urgent. He was able to appear as if he was smiling warmly. This was the creepiest situation of my entire life. She looked at Sean with pleading eyes. "I know this isn't your problem, but things have gotten kind of hard. I was hoping that you could send some of that money Chris made with you this way." Sean shook his head. "That's not something I can just do. There are attorneys and accountants. Can I maybe help you out with a little something to get you past the hump?" Sean reached into his pocket to dig for his wallet. This man going to give Biggie mom wallet money, y'all. Okay. She goes, "I haven't even seen how much Chris left. It's going on 2 years. Just how long is this going to take?" Sean sighed as he replied, "These things are difficult, Miss Wallace. I don't know. The attorneys don't make this easy." Miss Wallace pushed further. "I don't understand what's so difficult. He worked for you. He made his money. Where is it?" Sean shook his head as if saddened by what he was saying as he continued. "It's not like I can just give you his money. You're entitled to certain amounts, and they are just trying to figure out what that amount is. I don't mean to sound cruel, but it wouldn't be fair to me to just give you tons of money. You got rich off my son, and now you're keeping all of his money?" Sean kept his cool as he replied, "I'm afraid business isn't that cut and dry, Miss Wallace. I pay for publishing, publicity. I mean, in all actuality, if I'm going to be straightforward, Miss Wallace, Chris probably owed me money. I won't know until it's all worked out." The anger in Miss Wallace's voice barely overshadowed the pain, or perhaps it magnified it as she uttered the only words she could muster: "You bastard." Sean didn't flinch. He just said, "Look at the contract. I am honestly trying to get him as much as possible out of it, but I have investors. I can't just take money that doesn't belong to him and start giving it away." Miss Wallace exploded in response. "You know good and well Chris didn't owe you a damn thing." Now I'm gonna tell y'all this how I know Kim ain't lying, because that "you know good and well," that is a Caribbean thing right there. I'm telling y'all right now, because I know how she said it. Okay? Period. She know, we knew, period. Miss Wallace exploded in response. You know good and well Chris didn't owe you a damn thing. Sean stared her straight in the eye unwaveringly and said, he would have started making a profit after a few years. His money, until his album sales paid for studio time, music videos, publishing, and marketing, would have come from doing shows. I'm sorry, he isn't here to make that money. I miss him. Her response was deadpan. Did you kill my son? Momentarily stunned into silence, Sean didn't immediately respond. She asked again, her voice quivering. Did you? He started to say, Miss Wallace, she would not be redirected. Answer the question. I was not used to seeing Sean on the defensive. No, of course not. She looked at him with spite, the anger in her voice enough to send shivers up my spine as she replied with a menace only a mother can. I don't believe you, Sean. Sean looked at her with a sadness that I know in my soul to be fake. Although looking at him without context, anyone would believe him. As he replied, I'm sorry to hear that. Today, I know he was able to muster that false sincerity because he's a sociopath. Back then, I thought it was compassion. With no more words, Miss Wallace stood up and left. Sean watched her exit with disbelief. Not knowing what to do, I placed my order. Dinner that night was long and silent. I feared for Miss Wallace's life. Sean is most dangerous when he feels threatened. No, she could not physically threaten him, but this threat was very real. If she goes public with her accusations, Sean's image could would be damaged. I have felt for myself the extent he would go to in order to protect that image. 13. Have some faith. Have some faith. Y'all get ready for this. And it's funny that it's chapter 13 for this witch. Have some faith. The fact of the matter is, Sean was a complete control freak. He was absolutely the worst. But of all the things he did for control, this might have been one of the most despicable ones. We were in the bad boy office one evening, sitting in the lounge area enjoying a meal. Sean was smoking one of those big cigars he liked when Faith entered and sat down with us. She seemed relaxed as she said, Hey guys. I smiled. I never had any bad vibes from the marvelous Faith Evans. We never talked about the wild time the three of us shared at one of Sean's parties. I gave her a hug. Hey girl, what's up? Sean smiled and said, Hey, what brings you out? She addressed Sean, saying, Look, when you asked me to hook up with Chris, I understood. You needed to control him. I felt honored that you would choose me to monitor one of your most valuable assets. Chris is sweet. Sean laughed and said, Honestly, I knew you would be good, making the big man feel love. I don't feel good about all this, Sean. Sean got that look in his eyes. He gets before he blows his top. Faith saw it also. She treaded carefully. Sean, you know I'm as loyal as they come. Sean leaned forward unintentionally threateningly and said in a low tone, Yeah, but Sean, Chris and I had a child together. Sean leaned back. He let out a deep breath. I'm going to take care of you. You're not like Chris. You're loyal. Faith had a tear in her eye as she responded, He didn't have to die. This is getting very touchy. Did she know? Did she suspect? Was this her trying to find out if Sean intentionally killed Biggie? I wanted to talk, but of course, there was no way of doing that. This is so crazy. Sean sighed and replied, He didn't. Don't get me wrong, I miss him, but he was leaving me anyway. No one cares about my pain. Classic narcissistic Sean. It's all about him. I was sickened for a moment, but his next sentence made me feel for him anyway. I wanted to share all this with him. He was my man. Faith couldn't hide the anger that flared in her eyes, but she knew who she was talking to. She was careful as she spoke. Sean, you have your friends you share things with. Sean sat forward again, this time with malicious intention as he queried, What the F is that supposed to mean? Chris had no one, only you. Sean lost it. That fat F and that other piece of SHIT, I had you F. I interjected in shock. You had her F Pac? Sean glared at me as he answered, Yes, effing Pac. Those mother effers were going to try to start their own label and compete with me. Me. After all I did for that fat F, nah, I wasn't using resources to protect that mother effer no effing way. As Faith started to cry, Sean looked at her and softened slightly. He spoke a little calmer. Look, I didn't hate him. I was hurt, but I didn't hate him. I'll make sure you and Tashawn are taken care of. Without words, Faith got up to leave. As she turned, Sean spoke softly. Faith. She ignored him. He called to her again. Faith. She exited quickly. Sean just looked at me and said, Damn, I really didn't know what to say. Sean just told Chris's ex wife and daughter's mother that he wouldn't protect her husband because he was going to leave Bad Boy. From a business perspective, I didn't disagree with Sean there. If you're leaving and creating competition for him, why would he spend resources on you? So I hugged Sean, but I also knew he didn't have to send Chris to California. I wondered if he realized that he sentenced him to death. He hugged me back with tears in his eyes and he asked, How the F am I the bad guy? How? I effing do nothing but bust my ass to make sure everyone lives comfortably. And I'm supposed to just let niggas walk all over me too? As I held him in a comforting embrace, I replied, No, baby. He took me right there on the couch. Like I said, Stockholm Syndrome. Chapter 14, Outshine. And yes, shine is spelled Syne. This evening, I was at Sean's house. Snoop had just left with his patented see ya cuz. Quincy was at a friend's house. It was some alone time. I don't remember if we had something planned. We were just having drinks when the doorbell rang. He went to answer it, and the yelling could be heard from the other room where I sat. It was definitely Jennifer's voice shouting, Sean, what the F? Sean responded calmly, Relax. J-Lo barged in, Relax. Why the hell did you have to start shooting? Isn't that what we have bodyguards for? Normally, when these kinds of situations arise, I remain quiet and just listen. I play my position, you could say. But I wasn't paying attention to the news for the last day or so. And even though it would be the only thing anyone would talk to me about for months, no one had spoken to me about it yet. So I entered the foyer asking, What's going on? Jennifer exploded at me. What's going on? What's going on? This nigga just shot up a damn club. My jaw dropped, looking back and forth between the two. Sean smoked soothingly. Jen, you got to calm down. Jennifer was having none of it. She continued, Calm down. Calm down. You shot a bunch of innocent people, Sean. Sean placed his hand on her forearm. It's a bonding technique. He was shrewd in handling her. He does this to me too. Even if you know what's happening, it works. It's an intimate contact without being personal. He was aiming to disarm her. This didn't seem to immediately sway Jennifer as she continued. Why in the hell do you think Biggie's replacement will take the fall for you? Biggie's replacement? Wait, could she be talking about? I had to know. Are you talking about Shine? Jennifer didn't even look at me as she responded. Yes, effing Shine. Sean continued in a calm, even voice. Relax. The situation's under control. Jennifer was not calming down. She went on. They contacted my attorney for my statement, and there are a lot of witnesses, Sean. There is no way you're going to get away with this. Sean's arrogance can be immeasurable at times. He laughed as he asked, You doubting me? I couldn't believe it. I had to know. Sean, what could you offer him that would make him do a bid for you? Like, what the F? Jennifer also remarked, And what if he falters halfway through his sentence and starts talking? Sean responded as calmly as ever. He won't do that. People in jail don't cross connected people on the outside. Jennifer looked deflated. So you'll kill him too? How much does she know? Look, I'm not going to threaten anyone. Shine is smart and loyal. He knows how it goes. And when he gets out, he'll be well taken care of. Jennifer spoke defiantly. Sean, they want to question me. I am not perjuring myself. I'm not going to jail over this. Sean seemed so in control. I admired him for it at this point. My spirit was broken. I felt bad for Jennifer. She catches one bad break after another, and this was a really bad break. Sean spoke with confidence. Relax, come in and have a drink. Have your lawyer call mine. You will never see the witness stand, I promise. Jennifer wasn't so sure. She asked him, "How could you possibly know that?" Sean smiled when he replied, "Between Shine's confession and the witnesses that gave their accounts, the cops won't need much else. The statement from your lawyer will be fine." Jennifer's next concern popped up. She explained, "My attorney, Sean, he's good, but he won't do this." Beaming with confidence the way only a man with his net worth can, Sean responded, "Sure, he will." Jennifer shook her head defiantly as she responded, "Sean, you don't know him." Sean's unbreakable confidence was ruling the day. Jennifer was giving in as he told her with a smile, "I got this." "Sean, are you sure?" Sean gave a wink. "My attorneys handle situations. Give him my number two." Jennifer seemed leery as she asked, "You're not going to threaten my attorney?" Sean laughed as he replied, "No, of course not. Money talks, baby." He turned to me and said, "Take her inside and pour her a drink." I had questions of my own. "But you were going to make Shine the label go to man. What are you going to do now?" Sean looked disappointed as he responded, "He had the flow, but his flow," he sighed, "well, artists with his talent are a dime a dozen." Looking at Jen, he continued, "He's not a once in a lifetime find like Jennifer Lopez." Now he's throwing on the charm. Despite the situation, she blushed slightly. Sean continued, "Let's grab that drink. Let me handle the attorney situation. Relax, don't worry." We left the foyer and went to have a seat in the living room. He tried to make a threesome happen that day. It didn't work out. Not that day. So then you have a full color picture of Diddy and Neo hugged up on the top of that page. Chapter 15, Queen Bitch. Kamora and I went out to have drinks. She was looking at me seductively, and I was turned on. We were going to go back to my place after. Suddenly, after a sip, I had to vomit. I excused myself and barely made it to the ladies' room. When I came back to sit down, Kim asked, "You feeling okay?" "I'm fine. I have been under the weather the last couple of days. I think I'll head home." She said, "Your breasts are looking kind of plump there, girl." Embarrassed, I whispered, "Not in public." She replied simply, "You pregnant?" I was taken completely aback. "Why the hell would you say that?" She let it sit there for a minute. I bet in her head she was like, "Wait for it, wait for it." Then it hit me. Shit. She gave me a minute before continuing. "So what you gonna do?" I didn't understand. Gonna do? If it's not Sean's F, if it is. With the shock wearing off, the scope of the situation began to take hold. I responded, "I better get a test." She looked at me with pity. "Damn, girl, good luck. After what he did to Chris, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes." The desire that was in her eyes before I got sick was all but gone. As I began to stand, I realized what she said to me and I paused. She looked at me flatly and said, "Ain't nobody stupid, girl." I didn't know what to say. The question still lingered in my mind despite everything I knew. Did Puffy intentionally kill Chris? She brought me back to the moment by saying, "Go." Not knowing what else to say, but knowing I had to deal with my situation right now, I replied, I'll hit you up." She sighed and simply repeated, "Good luck." I quickly left to get the test. Chapter 16, Christian. The next day, I was sitting on my couch deep in thought when my doorbell rang. I went to let Sean in. This was going to be scary. We made our way back to the living room and we sat down. Quincy was asleep. Sean seemed legitimately concerned. "What's so urgent?" I didn't know what else to do. I just blurted it out. "I'm pregnant." The air in the room was as thick as J-Lo. He was quiet. What is he thinking? He asked the obvious question. "Are you sure?" I spoke rapidly. "I was on the pill. I'll get rid of it. I'm sorry. I just wanted you to know." "That's wonderful. This is great." I was so confused. "Huh? You're not mad?" He laughed. "Mad? No. Why would I be mad at this wonderful news? I'm going to be a dad with the woman I love bearing my child. What could possibly be better?" He jumped right on the phone and called one of his besties. He jumped on the phone and called one of his besties. Okay? He jumped right on the phone and called one of his besties. I could hear Will congratulating him. Sean said, "Yeah, definitely. Hold on. Kim, baby." I was still in awe of the fact that he didn't get angry. And yes, I will admit, I was sure he was going to hit me. So it was with relief when I replied, "Yes." He told me excitedly, "We got to have a party." His excitement was contagious. I was getting really excited too. Yes, a gender reveal. And he cut me off. "Yes, of course, we're doing all that, but everyone is going to want to sleep with you right before you give birth." My heart sank in my chest. Everybody is going to want to. Sean went on with the same excitement. Well, not everybody, but Will, Jada, Snoop. "Sean, I'm having your baby." He verbally waved me off. "It'll be fine." I couldn't help myself. I began to cry. Sean grew quiet on the phone, then spoke low. "I'll call you back." He hung up and took me by the hands. "Baby, I never asked anything from you." I tried to see him through the tears streaming down my face. I couldn't believe the words coming out of his mouth. I tried to speak. "Sean." He cut me off. "I provide everything anyone could ever want. Do you want for anything?" Sobbing, I replied, "No, but," he continued, "this is the kind of thing I have to do in order to continue giving you this comfortable lifestyle where you live in the lap of luxury and get to be on TV shows and in movies. I know you don't want this, but do you want all of this to go away?" A whimper is all I can manage. "No." He continued softly, "Then we got to do this." I said, "But Sean, I don't believe in all this spiritual crazy shit. We got here because you're brilliant, not because of the sex parties." He replied, "Do you trust me?" I did. My soul was so broken, I did. I responded, "Yes." He sighed as he said, "Then let's do what we need to do to keep what we have." As I nodded yes, he pulled me in to hug me. "Thank you, baby. We're going to have a beautiful baby." He ordered me some food, and that night I cried myself to sleep. I was going to be gang banged at 9 months pregnant. I want my children out of this life. My child's going to have a good, godlike name, a Christian name. They are not going to take his soul. So, with Diddy's tapes not released yet, just off of Kim's writings, you see that, these children, they start harvesting them even before they're even born. Okay. And you can see that that's why Will and Jada kids, you know, them kids barely holding on to their sanity as it is. Okay. So we just have a couple more pages now. Chapter 17, Broken Promises. I don't know how this managed to stay out of the media for so long. Wow. Sean got to the point where he was incredibly abusive, and only his inner circle knew. The artists were all too afraid of him to say anything. He had gained so much power. No one would say anything. Puff Daddy was a kingpin. This Monday afternoon, Quincy was in school. Our son Christian was with the nanny, and I still had to make a living. I still loved the camera and had just been cast for a new movie. Sean was coming over to celebrate with me, just the two of us. I was in the bathroom when he came in. We were going out to eat. He was in a foul mood. Sean yelled, "What the F?" And I would have to walk on eggshells. I came out of the bathroom to find him holding flowers. I smiled. "You bought me flowers?" Puffy yelled, "No." "So who the F are they from?" I was bewildered and told him honestly, "I don't know, probably just a fan." He threw the attached card at me. I picked it up and read it. "Sean, he slapped me so hard I hit the ground." Sean yelled, "Who the F were you with the other night?" I looked down at the card that was lying on the ground next to me that read, "The other night was amazing. We must do it again." Shit. I tried to explain, "Sean," he threw the flowers at me. "That's not how this works. You have my child. You don't touch anyone else unless I allow it." I yelled back, "It was just coffee with the producer. It was nothing." He glared at me as he asked, "Who the F is this producer?" I was trying desperately to calm him down as I responded, "From the movie, babe, calm down." He picked up my coffee mug and slammed it against the wall. Coffee flew everywhere while he yelled, "Who the F this nigga think he is? Sean, he's just some producer. We talked about the role and me maybe starring in another movie he wants to produce. I swear that's it, Sean." Sean exploded even more. He wants to put the move on my effing family at the top of his lungs. My effing family? He flipped the table over, breaking it. It was a heavy table. Sean is stronger than he looks. I pleaded with him. Sean, please. He yelled at me. What? I tried my best to calm him down. He probably didn't know. It didn't come up. You're publicly dating someone else. So he screamed at me. It somehow seemed even more intense. So you didn't tell him to back off? Sean, I didn't. He hit me with a chair. And at the bottom of that page is Sean and Snoop, hands interlocked. Okay, he hit her with the chair. I don't remember anything after that until I woke up in the hospital room. My arm was in a cast hanging from a sling. My face hurt. My eyebrow was in immense pain, and my lip. As I came to, the face I saw was the man that put me there. Sean asked with concern in his voice, "How are you feeling?" I responded, "Stay away from me. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I save it for the lawyers. Stay away from me." We were in a private hospital room. No one would hear me. I could scream like my life depended on it. If I didn't ring for assistance, I would get none. He kept going. I was just so jealous. You know how I am. He took hold of my left arm, the one that was not slung up in a cast. "You have our beautiful son, our family. It's just," at that point, I had enough. "The one you slutted out right before giving birth? Are you effing shitting me? Stay away from me. Don't come near me or my kids." He continued to plead. "I'm sorry, baby. I promise. I'll never put my hands on you again. I swear." I've heard this song one too many times. I spoke through gritted teeth. "If you come near me or my kids again, I'm calling the cops." A flash of anger returned. "You will use my kid to threaten me?" But then he caught himself. "I understand you're angry." I glared at him as I cut him off. "I'm serious, Sean." He spoke blandly with no energy. "And to tell them what? That you had a car accident? They'll pity you. That you hit your head." He was going to make me look crazy. They were going to believe him. He was a kingpin. "You're a effing bastard." Sean spent the next 6 months helping me heal, working his way back into my life and into my bed. I was so damn stupid. Of course, I wasn't cast for either movie. From what I understand, the producer died of pneumonia anyway. A lot of people die from pneumonia. Chapter 18, Sweet Goodbyes. Sean kept his word for the most part until he didn't. I ended up pregnant again. He wanted energy from that too. That would be my last sex party. My body will never be ravaged by so many people again, especially while I'm pregnant. What if something happened to the twins? After that, I wanted out. But when I tried dating someone else, the guy ended up dead from pneumonia. I knew Sean was behind it. This was not a coincidence. He gets jealous of a guy. They die of pneumonia. I could be next. If I am going to get out of this alive, I am going to have to do something to make him stay away from me. I had a plan, but it's dangerous. Sean has a vault where he keeps videotapes of all his conquests. I started sleeping with him again. After he falls asleep, he was starting to drink heavily. I would get into the vault and get a couple of tapes, take them home, make copies, and swap them for the next set of tapes a few days later. It took weeks to get them all copied. He never knew, and I had it my way out. Some of the tapes had things I would never have expected. The gay parties are one thing, but the young boys, Usher, Little Bow Wow, Justin Bieber, I would never have known. My God, is he grooming Quincy? This has to end. I invited him over one day to confront him and put an end to our on again, off again relationship. He entered my home unannounced for the last time. He would no longer have the key after today. I was in the kitchen. Kamora and I were sharing drinks. I was scared to face him alone. Sean entered smiling. "What's up, Kimmy?" "Hey, Maura." I told Sean, "Sit down." Because of my tone, he looked at me stunned and said, "What's going on? What is this?" I responded with delight. "Me taking my life back. We're done." He answered, "Hold on, wait a minute." I was so excited. I wasn't hearing any of it. I shouted at him, "No, no more. This is effing over." He looked confused as he asked, "Where is all of this coming from?" With disgust, I said, "I got the footage, Sean." He looked even more confused as he inquired, "What are you talking about?" Kimura said with revulsion. Usher too? Sean said, wait, what the F is going on? Sean stood aggressively. Kimura responded, don't make me call the cops. Sean's anger was creeping in as he replied, this is how it is? I simply nodded. If anything happens to either one of us, it gets released. He seethed as he queried, after all I've done for you? I don't think I was ever so happy as when I said those words, get out. Angrily, he started to leave, looking back with pure hatred. As he walked down the stairs, he turned around with fury and lunged at me. He knocked me down near the top of the stairs. I was hurt. Kamara screamed, stop. As he began to crouch over me, I kicked at him, hitting him in the kneecap, then the face. He went tumbling down the stairs. He was too hurt to get up. I called the cops. Komora left before they arrived. When he left, it was in an ambulance. I felt empowered. I felt safe. The Sean Combs days had finally come to an end. Okay, so you guys know then why I say I think I know who the female is that originally was given the information. Okay. And as you can see, she's staying pretty quiet right now as well. She probably just does not want to, kick up any hoopla. But as Kim promised him, if anything happened to either one of them, this would come out. And so it's out. Chapter 19, finale. Things were okay for a while. I started dating again. It was almost normal until I got serious with someone. Then my boyfriend died of pneumonia. I knew it was Sean again. That's when I decided to write this book. A few days ago, my home was burglarized. Only laptops were stolen. I knew it was that bastard. Of course, I had a copy in the cloud that I was able to easily download here on this new computer. As I continue to write now, I'll send this into the cloud as well. I will send out copies via email, and my Google Drive password will be attached so the missing chapters can be accessed. This book must get out. There are so many more chapters to add. This outline is a great start. I have to organize the rest of the chapters and add them in little by little. I actually planned on spending today working on exactly that until I met up with Kamora, but I'm not feeling well. Thank God the kids aren't here this weekend. I can rest. I called Kamora to cancel our plans. When I spoke to her, she said, girl, that don't sound like no flu. You want to go to the hospital? That didn't immediately alarm me. I told her I just need some rest and quickly got off the phone. But why can't I get my doctor? Why won't he pick up the phone? Oh no. I called Sean from my bedroom where I'm lying here in my bed. All I could think about was the kids, my babies who were with this monster, the man that I now suspect of having done this to me. Sean picked up with an air of superiority in his tone that let me know it was too late for me. He spoke confidently into the phone. Hello? I screamed at him. You bastard. I have your effing children. What are you talking about? The kids are with me, he replied with a mocking innocence. There's literally nothing I can do. I can only ask, did you ever love me? Instead of answering the question, he responded, the most important thing to me in the world is loyalty. I couldn't believe it. I had to ask, even though I understood. What the F does that mean? With the same feigned innocent, he mocked, Kim, is something wrong? He's going to continue this game to the bitter end. I asked one last time, how could you? Again, with the narcissism I had now come to despise, he responded, how could I? Do what? I gave you everything. You went to someone else. You left me just like everyone else did. You asked, how could I? How could I what? I yelled, look what you did to everyone around you. There was only anger in his response. So you're saying everyone leaves because of how I am and you're going to expose me? He had me burglarized. I knew it. I shouldn't have threatened him. I should have just published the book. I'm going to die like Heavy D, like Biggie, like Pop, like so many others. And it's because he is this monster. Before hanging up, I said simply, that's not the only copy, you F. I hung up and shot out a group text. I let everyone know he got me. Then I called 911. as I sit here waiting for the ambulance, I am writing this chapter, praying that I make it to the hospital. I don't feel like writing anymore. I don't think I'll be around to see it in print. It's okay. I'm sending it out. He won't get away with this. The world would know. Sean Combs, you are going down, you effing bastard. And she put you are going down, you effing bastard in all caps. We didn't have no choice on this social media platform but to acquire this book and to make sure that Kim's final wishes were upheld. The fact that Kim wrote this book right up until the point that she had to call the ambulance, it gives me chills. It it I don't know what it does to me, but I know that it made me make a decision that this was going to happen tonight. Okay? There's parting notes. Al B. Shore revealed why he felt Kim was running from Sean, and initially everyone felt he was seeking attention. However, numerous comments and allegations are coming from multiple sources that just may prove his statements have validity. Kim Porter shared twins with Sean, and she was constantly battling to maintain custody of them. Kim was writing a book about her life with Sean that allegedly included abuse, infidelity, and numerous wrongdoings. In the alleged book, it is said Kim went into detail about everything that happened in her life with Sean, from physical and emotional abuse, wiretapping, being watched and followed by paid personnel, and only being able to maintain her twins because she threatened to expose him if he attempted to take them from her. It has long been speculated that Sean swings both ways. Kim states he required her to wear a strap on when they had intimacy. Kim also allegedly approached Andre Harrell about Sean's intimacy with him, which was denied. However, it's rumored she had evidence the two were more than just business friends. Allegedly, Kim had quite a bit of footage of Sean with numerous men, validating the rumors that have been circulating for years. Sean had a reputation of publicly humiliating Kim with other women bearing children, one even being pregnant at the same time. The world knew the Sean Kim Porter relationship was far from sweet and innocent. In fact, it was easily labeled as toxic. Kim's family was Kim's family has threatened to file a wrongful death suit, feeling natural causes was not the reason for her death. Numerous exposés have questioned the cause of death and the location of her body when she was found. Kim had pneumonia and was said to have died peacefully in her sleep, but it's been said there was blood found on her pillowcase and on the bathroom floor leading to her bedroom. Allegedly, Kim was found unresponsive in her bed, but she was discovered on the bathroom floor. So the question remains, who placed her in her bed? Reports from the original coroner supposedly said there were toxicants found in Kim's system and suspected foul play. An anonymous person said Kim's last phone call was to 911 at around 2:43 a.m. and she was found the next morning at 11 a.m. If Kim called the ambulance, if Kim called 911 at 2:43 a.m., why was she not found until 11 a.m.? And there's a quote on the back. I guess it's a quote that's meant to be from Beyond. My name is Kimberly Porter. I was born in Columbus, Georgia on December 15th, 1970. I passed away from pneumonia and other complications unknown on November 15th, 2018 in Los Angeles, California. It seems as if my death was shrouded by mystery and possibly suspicious motives. Did I die from pneumonia? And that's the end of the book, you guys. That is what is causing the stir. That is what Kim risked her life to get out. But as I'm seeing in my mind's eye, with California on the burn, it's looking like to me that they would rather burn LA than talk about these tapes. So the question remains, what will become of Diddy the Diddler? We don't know, but we know that Kim sacrificed a lot. She sacrificed a lot. And, her children came out and said that she absolutely did not write a book, but, her kids are still under, or were still under the thumb of their father. So I don't know if because he's now in prison or when they get older, if they'll be able to talk. But every single wicked man will have their day. And I personally enjoy looping the moment that the feds walk up to Diddy and approach him for his arrest. I personally, it's like a soothing thing for me. I loop it over. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a gift out of it because it's just a reverberating moment in time. You manipulative, serial killing, back, buck breaking, betrayer of your brethren, hip hop dancing, bold jangle jangling, silly clown nigga. Yeah, that whole part. And I'm gonna market this video and push this video and slice and dice this video until as many people hear it as possible. You guys just not gonna keep comfortably doing what you're doing and think that nobody's gonna talk. Kim made the ultimate sacrifice. Diddy's in jail. It's time to free the freaking rappers. Okay? Free the freaking rappers. Okay? The majority of them, they're probably more than likely not gay. They're victims. They're victims of this ridiculous satanic Hollywood system. And if you guys are not prepared for all of this that's happening with Diddy, pack up your bags and go somewhere else because the rest of the things that's going to be coming out, you guys are not ready for. Right. But 2-3 years ago, when people were talking about this, nobody wanted to listen. Everybody was crazy. It's a wrap for these people. You guys notice since September or whatever, Ben Affleck can't freaking stomach to look in Jennifer Lopez's direction and they're divorced, okay? Because of her raggedy behind activities. Yeah, apparently Diddy's voodoo activities bumped up real high after he got with her. And yeah, she's the beard, the video vixen that he had to get with to cover himself. Everybody asks for the past 20, 30 years, why is J-Lo famous? She can't sing. She can't act. She's famous because she's probably the only one that knows the Santeria spells in Hollywood. You see? And Carter, that's why Beanie Siegel said that he don't got no process other than wearing Biggie's chain and not getting a haircut. So all the sex magic, the cult magic, the child sex, the child sacrifice, y'all either accept it and keep following these people or wake up. And for any wannabe Christian hater that wants to say anything about the fact that I chose to read this book on my channel, I could tell you right now, save it, honey. Save it, mister, because I don't care about that. This is a war. And you guys have been letting these demons slide way too comfortably. So it's a wrap from over here. Now, with that being said, I'm not a death dealer. I'm not a death dealer. I'm not here to profit from somebody's death. However, I will say that there are not a lot of copies of these books. Um, and I felt it was my due diligence to get the book, read the book, and do my part to let people know what's really going on. Your people that's on The Voice, on the Olympics, whatever. You see, Snoop Dogg was prominently featured in the Olympics that just went by. You see, LA is burning, and LA is slated to have the Olympics in 2028. Snoop lives in LA. You guys better start making connections, okay? Because they're right in front of your face. Now, if you were just visiting this channel to listen to the book, that version's over. The bridge is over. You can leave now. Blessings on you and thank you. And do what you got to do to expose these demons if you care to. If you are a demon, then just whatever. We ain't worried about you. To the soul fam, my people that was with me from the beginning, I really thank y'all for tarrying with me. Um, it really blew me to lose my brother, and you guys know we're family, so you guys know who he was. So I know you guys understand, and I know you guys overstand. Um, I will do my best to go ahead and get the channel ramped up. I always kept you guys in mind, always kept you in my thoughts. Got like a whole bunch of little Bible studies and things like that sketched out. But I think we crossed over a bridge. I didn't use this channel for a lot of current events, but like, it's time, and I wasn't going to mix the content on the channel, but I think everything's going to stay on this channel. If you can't face the fact that what's going on is going on in God's world, then I don't know what to tell you, but I shall not stay silent, as you all know. So we're going to shoot for once a month. We'll try to get something popping. I'll give it to you raw, no chaser. Y'all already know what it do over here. So rest in peace, Kim. Diddy, I hope you get everything that's coming to you, dog. Snoop, you want to send packages? I hope you end up in a package. I hope all you demons get exactly what's coming to you. And my Bible guarantees me that you will. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm out, y'all. And y'all better remember, egos might trip, but humble don't never ever stumble. Your girl soulmate and is out. One.